What's going on, guys? It's Yasuke Fitness back at it again. Today's Sunday is a beautiful Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday out there. I know this is a very important day in a lot of Americans' lives. I personally don't watch football, but I mean, different strokes for different folks, right? So fix my camera. All right, so I got my guest in. I'm adding to the stream, and we're gonna go ahead and get this show on the road. All right. So today's gonna be a very interesting stream, but let me introduce you to my guest.
What's up, brother?
All right, what's going on? What's going on? So let me I'm just introducing the stream right now, and then I'll let you go ahead and we'll talk a little bit, and then we'll move on to the topic for the day. So today is episode 2 of Father's Talk, where this is basically a series that I'm doing, a live stream series where I'm talking to the fathers, right? My father, a lot of my friends are fathers, and anybody who can give me or give the audience their own take on what it's like being a father. And we're going to talk a little bit more about just fatherhood and things like that. Today's episode is going to be very interesting. We've got 2 videos to react to, and we're going to go into a deep dive discussion with it. So stick with it. Stay with it. This is going to be a great episode. I'm really excited for this episode because I got one of my best friends on here, man. One of my dogs. I grew up with him, and I'm gonna let him introduce himself. So, go ahead, do your thing, bro.
Yeah, man. Like O'Neil was saying, what's up, you guys? Longtime friend. My name is Justin, also known as Justin Gats Vlogs on Instagram. If you guys want to follow me on there. I'm a father of 2, so one of the better friends to definitely have on for this topic for sure, because I've definitely seen. I would like to think all aspects of like fatherhood and having a father, not having a father, having a half-time father, a part-time, you know what I mean? So as well as being a father of now 2 kids, boy and girl. So awesome. I've got pretty good portfolio on this topic for sure.
Right. he is a subject matter expert now.
pretty well
diverse. And I tell him all the time that I tell Justin all the time that when I have my kids, man, I'm gonna go straight to you, dog. Like, you're gonna be a veteran in the game. I'm gonna go straight to you for real. So I'm very proud. I'm very proud of him and what he does, and he's a great guy. That's why I've always kept him around. I think that's why he's always kept me around, because I'm a good dude too. So we got to roll together. So today's topic is gonna be fatherless homes, okay? And we're gonna do a reaction video, and we're gonna do a reaction video, 2 reaction videos, and we're gonna go through it. We're gonna disseminate the information. We're not gonna just watch it all in one jump.
Right.
So, so let's go ahead and get into the details. Okay. So.
Dude.
All right. Audio is shared.
Yeah. Hey, I apologize for any extra noise in my background. Like I said, I am a father.
That's cool.
You got with me, so
you got the kids. You know what I'm saying? So
the kids running in and out. We try to keep it to a minimum, though.
So we're going to react to this video. Patrick Bet David, if you guys don't know him, he's a really good, inspiring father, entrepreneur. He's everything. And I actually met him last year, and I'm really proud that I actually met him. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about fatherlessness crisis here in America. So let's go ahead and watch this video, and let's go.
I have some disturbing stats I want to share
with you
about fatherless homes.
Yep.
And by the way, some of the stats, I've seen this profile. I'm going to tell you, when you read some of these stats, you're going to sit there and say, that is insane. By the way, these stats are from 2021 of the impact a father makes in a child upbringing, both of.
Let me pause that real quick. I need to just make an adjustment on my screen, on the panels on my screen. Okay, let's go.
Girl and a boy, like I said, disturbing, but you will be shell-shocked with the stats. If you get value from the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me get right into it. The U.S. has the highest rate.
By the way, fair use. I'm using the fair use clause on YouTube, so nobody hits me with no copyright problems. So let's go.
Rate of children living in a single-parent household of any nation in the world. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers, at a rate of 23% of children living with one parent and no other adult. The United States stands over 3 times the world average of 7% of children raised by one parent. For reference, the number stands at 3% in China, 4% in India. This is not an area we want to be competing with other countries, by the way. If there is a statistic to not be competing in, this is one of the statistics. China's at 3, India's at 4, the world's at 7. We're at 23% in America, 0 bragging rights. This is the stat everybody wants to hide. And this is the stats where the side effects of this, we ain't going to see for 2 decades or 3 decades or longer.
All right, so I'm pausing right there, and I want to get your reaction on those statistics. So we're at 3% in China, 4% in India, 7% worldwide, and we're at 23% here in the US. So what do you think about those statistics? You know, are those alarming to you? Do you think it's surprising?
Bro, honestly, man, that as funny as it sounds, I think to me, it's actually surprisingly lower than I thought it would be. You know what I'm saying? As far as percentages go, like as far as America, you know, having more family homes being raised by one parent, I would expect the percentage to be higher. Just because if you think about it, you know, me and you and you know, the rest of our friend group and the people that we went to school with, you know, you name it. But you know, most of the time you talk to a lot of people at school are, you know, growing up, meeting people at work and stuff, and they grew up in a one-parent household. So me personally, I know more people, I would say, that have a one-parent household than both parents in their life. Like even in your instance, you know what I'm saying? When I ran into you and a couple of obviously our other friends, it was more surprising to be like, oh, you got both of your parents in your life. Oh, you have your father in your life. You know what I'm saying? That's a very, very rarity nowadays. Mm-hmm. Also, one of the more of the reasons that I am not only a father and chose to be a father, or chose to be a good father at that, but being my kid's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that percentage is, like I said, low to me. It is shocking though.
It's probably sad. Higher. It's probably higher. I mean, the video.
Right.
I don't even know when the video was posted, but I
right.
mean, okay, well, this video was posted 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks
ago. I mean,
yeah.
I guess that stats pretty accurate
right.
in today's world, but.
And statistics are statistics. Sometimes that, you know, they're off. They're never accurate.
Yeah, they're never like 100%.
It could be higher. It could be lower.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, the you know, the main point is that that's super shocking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In any aspect that you want to look at it,
okay.
It's sad, really.
Let's go. Let's continue.
Yeah,
I like your take.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you chose the right one. You chose the right one on this one. I'm ready for it.
See the side effects. Let me continue. Even for children with a father present in the home, the average school-age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week with one-on-one conversations with his father. For comparison, the same boy, on average, will spend about 44 hours a week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet. In our house, there is no video games throughout the week. It's on the weekends. After you read 150 pages throughout the week, then you have the right to play video games for an hour or 2 on the weekend. And that's what you have to earn. You have to move your body. You have to exercise. There's certain things you need to do to get to that point. That's our household. But the stat tells you 44 hours a week of watching TV, playing video games, and surfing the internet. Let me continue. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of teen suicides, 85% of children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Let me read that stat to you one more time.
Can we put it on a pause?
90% of all homeless.
Yeah. You want to chime in on that?
Yeah, dude, I got to reflect on that last point you made right before this one.
I was gonna pause it, but I wanted to kind of go ahead. Go ahead.
Dude, I just had to stop you real quick, or stop the video real quick, just because of the fact that I wanted to reflect on that a little bit because, man, is that a statement?
30 minutes a week. I think, what was it, like 30? He said
like something like 42 hours a week. They're spent on the television or whatever the case is. But the point was, he said only about 30 minutes of conversation. That's insane. That's crazy, insane, bro. That number is more shocking than any number I would hear. You know what I mean? Like, and it does, like I said, it makes me reflect because as a parent, you get so caught up in not only trying to obviously support your child, right? That's step one. but then you try to make them happy. Step 2, right? And then in the mix of those two, you find yourself trying to also not only find time to do those things and the money to do those things, but you catch yourself falling into a rabbit hole or a snowball effect of just trying to maintain, right? Like maintain their happiness at the same time, maintaining your sanity or maintaining money. And you find yourself basically using TV, television, games, and other distractions as a crutch for your kids to raise them, in a sense. Because if you think about it, they're spending all this time on the TV. Who's raising them?
It's that social media, man.
Who's raising them? You know what I'm saying? And especially nowadays, with phones. You know, my son, for instance, he doesn't have a phone now, but he did have a phone at one point at what, 4 or 5 years old? You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And so, young father, I had my son. He's 6 years old now. I'm 24. And I had him when I was 17. I just turned 18 when I had him. Just turned 18. So I'm an 18-year-old boy, right? A young man trying to become a man or figure out what a man even is, which I'll get more into later on. But because, you know, the type of upbringing I had to, you know, like I would like to say maybe majority men nowadays, they're figuring out how to be a man. So yeah, that was me at that point. So that's crazy. That is crazy.
Like it's a shame too. It's really a shame.
Yeah, it is.
That we're in this world now, and it's unfortunate because we, like, guys like us, you know, you're about 4 you're about 4 years younger than me, but you got a wave of the generation before you and things like that, right?
Right.
We're like the last ones that knew of a life before the internet. You know what I'm saying? We knew what it was like to go outside and just be outside and not think about what was happening anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, you went outside, you played your bike, you hung out with friends, you went on the playground, you did shit, and like that was life, bro. And like life to me at that time was like, you didn't think it was gonna change from what you were doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. You always thought you were gonna be just doing your thing with your friends, or like you're gonna grow up and things like that. But now we're living in this social media digital age, bro, and we're living on you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you through a screen right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to be here. We can have this whole show, we can have this whole conversation. So it's amazing. It's amazing, but at the same time, the kids are losing a lot. Like the kids growing up now,
they get the short
stick. They get the really short end of the stick, because like there was like true genuine things that happened to us as kids when we were that age, like riding bikes and like important stuff.
Events.
So
like, had those events not happened, O'Neal would not be O'Neal. Yasuke Fitness would not be Yasuke Fitness.
I would not, bro. And Justin would not have vlogs.
Yeah, have vlogs.
All right, let's go ahead and continue with the video. All right.
Yep.
All right.
And runaway children, 63% of all teen suicide.
Let me bring it back up.
Yes.
Suicide. 85% of children and teen with behavioral disorder come from fatherless homes. That is a very, very big number. Next, fatherlessness likewise has a direct link to teen pregnancy and sexual activity. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in a fatherless home. 70% of teenage pregnancies comes from fatherless homes. 70%. That's a big number. And these same women have significantly higher abortion rates than women raised by both a father and a mother. On the whole, fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children from two-parent household. 20 times more, okay? 20 times more. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chances as children raised by just their father. You may already be blown away by the stats before, so maybe come back and let me read this to you. And
this one's an interesting one. He's going to repeat it, then we'll talk a little bit about it.
Brace for impact if you missed it. Let me read it one more time. Listen. Just stay with me. Don't get distracted. Stay with me. Listen. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chance as children raised by just their fathers. Husband and wife raise their kid. The chance of this kid going to jail is the same as just the father raising his kids. The problem is the single mother without a father in the picture that can sit there and discipline the kids, give them hope, values, principles, all the other stuff. We play different roles. This is statistic. If somebody's watching and saying, oh my God, you're discounting women, you're discounting mothers, go get upset at the stats. Not a.
All right. So
I
like you were saying, 20 times more likely to be
Yeah.
incarcerated, all these other crazy things, teen pregnancies. And then he, added the stat on of children that come from single father homes have the same likelihood as children that come from both parents in the household.
Right. I got a couple hot takes, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You gotta think about that.
You said what?
Let me know what you think.
Yeah, let me tell you. So, holy snap! You know what I'm saying? That, like, for one, obviously the stats are gonna be they seem like they're gonna be shocking the whole time. I think it's mainly not only because this is a topic that isn't necessarily talked about as often. So a hot take I have, I guess you could say, or just an opinion I have, with that statistic at the end, right? Man, like the chances that a child raised by both parents has the same chance as a household with just a single father. I think that boils down to, I guess the obvious, men, they're leaders, right? We're good at disciplining. We're good at knowing the balance between, I could say at least, or maybe at least being able to adapt to the balance between nurturing a child and raising them and then disciplining them so that they are not crippled by the nurturing. Mm-hmm. And then I think I don't want to necessarily, I wouldn't put all the blame on like single women households, right? You can't necessarily blame the single women households, I would say. And the reason I feel that way about it is because I think that us men, we have to take ownership as well, because the men that come into those single mother households, right? The single moms who are raising a kid, it's really our fault as men to make that a better statistic. And the reason that is because there's too many, for a lack of a better explanation, ain't shit, men out there. You know what I'm saying? And
say fuck boys.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ain't shit men. You know what I'm saying? Ain't shit men as far as like, I'm just trying to get with the chick, about our kids, instead of, in a perfect world where all of us men would be respectful. Oh, I don't want to come around when your kid's around right now, or get to a certain point before I meet your kid. There's not enough of those out there. So
I do want to go ahead and finish.
My bad. Whereas as a man, you have a lot more control over that in the dating world, right? As a man, if I have my son like I did, at one point I was single for 4 years, right? From the time my son was born to the point where he was 4 years old, I was single. I had a lot more control over the type of women that met my son. For one, we don't have to worry about that as much because women are a lot more responsible when it comes to kids, right? Even in the dating world. So I had a lot more control of who met my son and when they met my son. You know what I'm saying? Whereas single moms, they do struggle a little bit more with that, I would say.
Right. I do want to piggyback. I want to rebuttal actually what you said, and I add something on there. So if we're just looking at the statistics as a whole, like I get it. There are men out here that they're no good. There's guys that are no good, in their mind, they're not going to really step up to take care of their own kids. And I believe that there is a percentage of men that are out there like that, right?
Right.
But deep down inside, I truthfully believe that there's a bigger number of men that actually want to be a part of their child's life.
And, 100%. 100%.
And I truly do believe that the way the system, the way the laws are, the way the laws work, the way the system works out, when the two parents get into a debacle or get into some kind of situation where they're against each other,
right?
More times than not, the woman will initiate some kind of will initiate a divorce more times than not. Like, or more women are more likely to initiate a divorce when a conflict happens in a marriage, right? And so the way the laws are placed and the way the laws work out, women will always get the kids most of the time.
100%.
Right? Most of the time. And it makes sense because women are a lot more nurturing, they're a lot more caring, you know what I'm saying? And we really play into like that emotional side of things, right? But what we don't talk about are, and it's actually pushed out on the internet a lot now, is there's guys that are like 25, 26, 27 finally meeting their dad for the first time, and their dad is explaining them everything that happened between him and his mom, and the story that his mom told him about his dad was completely different. Like his dad was a completely different guy. His dad actually tried, you know what I'm saying? And there's cases like that. So I just wanted to bring light to that as well, is that there are men out there that
all of the cases are like that, because there is a lot of men that don't want to meet their kid or didn't ask to have the kid, right? They messed around with a chick. I don't want that baby, you know what I'm saying? I know I can't take care of the kid. I'm not prepared. I wasn't raised with a father probably, right? And I don't know how to raise that kid. So, hey, or I don't want to be with you, so I don't want to have that kid. And they have that kid, and then they blame it on the father, right? And then the kid hates the father. Now the kid is at a disadvantage because now he's raised.
Oh, shoot.
Am I still here?
Yeah,
hello?
Still here.
Okay, my bad. I received a call. Pass it on. But yeah, they now they're raised in a broken home, you know what I'm saying? So it's really, you can't really play one side or the other, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm not playing one side or the other. I can only speak from experience, right? I am well versed in this topic 100%, because I could go into super deep detail and blow a couple minds real quick. You know what I mean? For sure. And I definitely will before this is over. But yeah, dude, I don't want to play one side or the other. I think it's a responsibility of America, right?
Yeah, it's the standards here in America.
People that live here, right? We all live here. We're all one, right? We're all a human race, right? It's our responsibility, especially as men and women, to raise these kids properly. If you're going to choose to have kids, raise them properly. And if you're not, you need to have a plan for that. You know what I mean? So
I personally believe that every woman should really understand the importance of marriage and why marriage is, why you need to marry before you have children. Why you need to find a man that you love and respect, have marry you before you have his children.
Right.
That's so important, because when a man, proposes to a woman, gives his all to a woman, that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? So when you have those kids, you can count on him to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys already like worked out situations and things like that. You guys already established that you guys are a unit before those kids come in. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not always going to work out that way, but
you handle problems before you have a child.
Marry before you carry, man. So
you said what?
No, marry before you carry. That's what.
Marry before you carry. I mean, and in some cases that's not true. You know what I'm saying? In some cases people get married because marriage, right? All that is paper, right? All that is law.
It's law, but it's always meant something throughout. Like, in today's day and world, yeah, we could say it's just paper, but throughout history, marriage has always meant something. That's the bond between men and women becoming one. You know what I'm saying?
O'Neal, I'll tell you this, bro. I think, and this is gonna be crazy to you, but I think that marriage benefits men when it comes to children more than it does women.
Really?
100%. You know why?
Hold on. Before you go into that, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Julian Chavara.
Sure.
His comment. Let me stop saying government names though. I'm just calling him Jay.
Just give out that.
So he says, it's at a cost of a man's life, which can be completely ruined through the system while the kid is stuck in the middle ground. So yeah, I think he was rebuttaling off of what I was saying, or piggybacking off of what I was saying. So, like, these men, they get married and, things happen, and the way the system works, the women can divorce you and leave you, and you pretty much screwed over, and the kids get screwed over. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a very incentivized system for a woman to divorce her husband, and it incentivizes them almost, because they get rewarded for getting divorced. through alimony, child
Right.
support, and things like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
but go into what you're gonna say.
Oh, so the reason I said that is and the
Mhm.
only reason I said that is
Mhm.
because, like I've said before, so just to give some background on me, right?
Mhm.
So I am a father of two. I'm 24. I had my first son when I was 18. I had my daughter now in 2022 last year. And so when I had my son's from by a different woman than my fiance now. And when I had him, we were actually engaged, as funny as it is. Very young, engaged, and planned to be married. And we never had ended up getting married before we had our kid, obviously. And so the reason that is such a negative for me and as a man is because, like you were saying earlier, women automatically, based off of past situations in America, that the law automatically takes the woman's side off rip, mainly because of the fact not only do they bear the child, so it's a guarantee that that's the biological mother, versus, in some cases where the father may not be the father, you know what I'm saying? So where it was at a disadvantage not being married for me is because I had no rights to my child. From the moment my child
Yeah.
had to go to court and fight for the same rights she was given automatically.
But that's fucked up because that's your DNA.
Even with a DNA test. Like I had a DNA test right off rip for my son, right? I just actually stumbled upon it right before I did taxes this year. And so the reason it's such a benefit as a man, if you plan on having kids with a woman, to be married, is because then the playing field as far as the children goes is equal. And I think it's so important because you go out there and have a kid with any woman right now and not be married to them, they could take that kid, move to a whole other country you'll never hear from them again, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's
Not one
crazy,
bit.
dog.
You can't go get married after that. You can't fight in courts because she's in another country. You can't do nothing. Like absolutely nothing.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Whereas if you're married, you at least have a little bit more leverage.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so like I was saying,
marriage does mean something.
It means a lot, dude. It means a whole lot. And a lot of men look at it as a negative nowadays because we hear all the stories about women getting married to men and then getting divorced from them and taking all they got, right?
Mhm.
Well, if we're being honest, there's not a whole lot of men nowadays that got a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them. But as far as the Joe Schmoes go around, like all these regular people that are going day to day, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying, like, most of the time, there's a lot of these women that are smarter than the men that got good credit and got things going for themselves.
Mhm.
While us men, some of them, are still being immature and going out and doing clubbing and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that marriage is a bad thing at all. And I think that it's actually got a really negative, it's got a negative rap. And I don't think that it necessarily deserves it. I mean, you could get into all the details. But
We'll get into it, but let's continue the video.
yeah.
Let's talk a
But
little bit more about the video.
I'm gonna cap it.
Yeah.
So, if you want to have kids with a woman, get married. That's how I feel about it.
You should.
Get married. That's it. Get married because you want to trust me. The last thing you want is to have a kid with a woman and not be able to see your kid because now you have no control over how they're raised, and they're gonna end up one of these statistics in this video.
So let's go ahead and continue the video.
Let me. This is stats. You can't get upset at 3 times 3 is 9. That's
right.
Stats. I'm giving you stats that's being given to us by the government because they have access to these stats. This is disturbing. Let me continue. Girls with no fathers have lower self-esteem. We can lower crime, lower mental issues, help the economy, lower suicide rates, and decrease homelessness by bringing back the family nucleus. There are things that my wife can do as a mother that I can't do. There's things she can bring that I can't bring, but there are things I can do that she can't do. So now you may say, well, Pat, I agree. I do agree. We can lower this. But then how come it's not happening? And here's the other question. Who's to blame? Who do we blame with this? Now, you may be listening to this saying, well, it's got to be the husband and wife's fault. It's got to be the man and the woman's fault. Fine. How come it's not the same ratios around the world? Why is U.S. fatherlessness at 23%? Everywhere else is 7% average. So is it really the mom and dad? So how about the mom and dad in India? How about the mom and dad in China? How about the mom and dad in Germany? How about the mom and dad in Brazil? How about the mom and dad in other places? Why are we at 23%? How did this happen? Was it like this before? Is it an evolution? Is it mainstream media? Is it Hollywood? Is it the fact that parents are afraid of parenting because everybody is so much involved? You can't do that to your kid. You can't do this to your kid. You can't discipline your kid like that. Whose fault is it? It's someone's fault. Is it the fact that, hey, we can't really bring church and schools and pray and all this stuff? I don't know. Maybe that's not something you agree with. Maybe it is. Maybe we need those values and principles. But it's somebody's fault in America that this is happening. This is purely a systemic issue that we're having. This cannot be like no, it's really the community, it's the parents, it's the culture, it's all this other stuff. No, standards are standards. We're sitting there not educating. Oh, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Oh, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Oh, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. No, standards have dropped, and the numbers are showing. If we judged a country based on how many kids are being raised by fatherless homes, that's producing crimes at the levels that we're getting, sex during teenage pregnancy, abortion, suicide, incarceration, maybe we ought to look at this. Maybe this is very important. Maybe our educational system sucks. Maybe. Kids spend more time around teachers than they do around their parents. Maybe. Who do we blame? The responsibility has to lie on the nation.
100%.
Maybe we're either too much involved or we're not selling. Take your time to get married. Take your time before you have sex with someone.
Right.
Take your time before you get pregnant. Take your time before you have a baby. Protect yourself. Stay home. Do not just go out there and have unprotected sex. Maybe we're not talking about this kind of stuff. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. The stat says we're not selling it in the right way, and we're paying a price for it. If you're in a community where crime is high,
for them to talk about it.
Yeah. So you want to talk a little?
100%, dude. This is why. I mean, the reason America's statistics are higher than all these other countries is because I believe wholeheartedly that, dude, America profits off of the poor. Okay, 100%. That's obvious. But I think that America also, it's become a hustle to be homeless. Homeless people get checks. People in Section 8 get checks. They get awarded. Whereas in other countries, if you're broke and you're poor and you're not trying, there's nothing there. There's nothing for you.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing for you, and you just end up becoming the dirt that everybody walks on. You know what I'm saying? Whereas here in America, if you decide to be an ain't shit person tomorrow, if I decided to stop hustling and working and trying to provide for my family tomorrow, I could file for Section 8, file for food stamps, there's so many things that actually, as funny as it is, I actually heard this today. Someone saying that Section 8 wasn't built so that you can just live off of it. It was to get by. You know what I'm saying? Section 8 is I'm doing real bad this year. I got to figure my life out. And by next year or in 6 months, my life will change for the better because I got this assistance. People are taking this assistance and they live on it for years. And an example, I won't give you a name, but my son's grandmother on his mom's side has not had a legal job since she had her first child 25, 26 years ago. You're talking a mid 40-year-old woman who has never had a job and never had to work because they were getting assistance, and they were like, oh, if it's this easy to just get this assistance and get awarded, and awarded big, because food stamps, they give some money out for food stamps.
Right.
And I'm not shitting on nobody that I had food stamps as a kid. I grew up in a very wealthy household, and then I went to a very poor household where we couldn't have light. We didn't have lights. We didn't have hot water. And then I'm at where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? On my rise from middle class to a higher class. And it's so easy to be ain't shit in America. Yeah. So easy. It's way easier.
You get awarded for being.
You get awarded. Why would I go and work 80 hours a week, 80 hours or 40 hours a week if I could get that same amount of money for free and go travel? What happened during COVID? What happened when people were taking, getting all these, what is it?
Stimulus checks.
Stimulus checks. I'm in Paris. I'm in Bahamas. I'm traveling. I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to this festival. I'm doing that. How are you? You're getting awarded. You get awarded. And now it's training them mentally, right? America's training them. Hey, if you're broke, we'll give you this check. We're not going to regulate what you do with it, right? Because if they did that, a lot less people would be on Section 8. A lot less people would be on food stamps.
Yeah.
They seen that you was buying chocolate Chips Ahoy cookies with food stamps, right? They'd be tight. They bought 5 Chips Ahoy. Bro, another example. I work with a gentleman who has food stamps.
Yeah.
And it's not because he needs it. He has a job.
Right.
He has a son. Mm-hmm. But you know what he does? Is sometimes he'll come in and it's a flex for him. Oh, I bought hella cookies and Gatorades and all this stuff and to put it in a basket for everybody to come and eat off of. Right? He's awarded. He's awarded. Now he looks like a good guy. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? But like he's awarded. He didn't have to work for that.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he go out and work any harder than what he's doing now?
Exactly.
I can get mediocre effort and get a lot more than what I'm giving out. Who wouldn't double down on that stock? I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put in 1%. Y'all gonna give me 10% back, dude. It's bad. America we have too many programs that are not regulated properly. 100%.
I totally agree with you.
100%. There's people that do serve. There's people that do need it. Single moms that got the shit into the stick, right? They didn't pay attention to who they were sleeping with before they got married. They didn't really, because they probably never had a father that could teach them those things, right? Teach what a good man is.
Some probably was in the fatherless home. Okay. I believe that the first man every girl should love is her father. 100%. That, like the first man. I mean, like the truly like you know how like little girls will say like I want to marry you, dad, or like I want to marry you, daddy.
I want a guy
talking about like that, like you know what I'm saying.
To some extent, they want to have their father in some aspect.
In some aspect, dude, and it really does pain me to see girls that they have a bad relationship with their dad, or like something happened, X, Y, and Z happened, and the way they talk about their father is in a negative light. Me personally, I kind of see that as a red flag, because like even if there's things going on between you and your father, I don't believe that should be public knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Especially to somebody, especially to a guy that you just met, a guy you just met, or somebody that you're interested in, and things like that. Like those are conversations to be brought up when things get more serious. You know what I'm saying? So I really take note of how a person talks about their father and their mother too. So that is very important. But let's go ahead and finish up. Yeah.
Something or fall for anything, right? So no, I agree with that 100%. Golly, man, this is a good video.
Let's finish the video and then we'll go on to the next video.
Go ahead, for sure.
We got about 20 minutes left in the stream. All right.
Sure. Let's get it.
A good conversation though.
Hello.
Yeah. Sure.
You're feeling it. That's the
shit. I gotta bring it back up.
Yeah.
All right.
So the next time you see a father that takes their job as a father seriously, you can actually say, you know how we see somebody in military uniform? Guess what you say? Hey, thank you for your service. What do you mean? Hey, man, stats, 23% fatherlessness. And you're there with your kids. Thank you for your service. Being a father is tough. Good for you guys, husband and wife, trying to make this work. Marriage is tough. Salute. You make my life better and safer by raising good kids. Salute to you. Maybe we ought to give those awards. Maybe we need to kind of recognize Father of the Year award, a bigger deal. Man, if I ran a state or a country, we would be recognizing certain behavior and turning great fathers and mothers into heroes. Because God knows their job is hard, very hard.
Amen.
Not, making their job harder, not recognizing the guys that are doing a good job, just kind of winging it, which is the way we're doing it right now. Stats don't favor us. We got some work to do. This is an area, I will very comfortably say America's got a lot of work to do. We've stepped away from values and principles, and we're kind of winging it. Anyways, no one masters parenting, and none of us know if we're going to be great parents or not for about 40 years until our kids are 40 years old. By the time you know you're a great parent, you're probably not alive, because your grandkids will validate that you were a good parent. So you're never going to know whether you were a great parent or not. But I made a video from all the different things I've learned and what I apply in my life about parenting called How to Raise Successful Kids. If you've never seen it, click here to watch that video. Shout out to those of you guys that take your
man.
So that was the end of the first video. Let me go ahead and get to more of the comments. We got Julian again in the chat. Appreciate you for being in here, Julian.
Yeah, shout out Julian.
Let's go. So his first comment: if there's a family that stays together, the reason little kids say they want to marry their parents is because most of the time the parents have the kids' best intention in mind.
Right.
Most of the true.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's parents that stay together, so you see your parents married, you want to replicate that. And I always told myself that too, is like, I cannot be with a woman that's like, she has to resemble like the kind of woman that my mother was, bro. Like, I've seen my mother do
100%.
I've seen my mother do all kinds of stuff.
Daddy Thomas, they're the goats, man.
Bro, I've seen my mom do all kinds of stuff for my dad, for us. Like my mom will literally air out a building for us, bro.
Oh, what?
She will literally bro, I'm telling you, my mom's like, and like
Problems with mine too. Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I can't accept a woman that's that's lesser than that on the spectrum of like how dedicated we are like together, and like how, you know what I'm saying, I can't deal with like loose things like that. And that, you know what I'm saying, like that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, kids are going to replicate what their parents do. So if they see their parents together long term, they're going to replicate either they want somebody like their mom, girls want somebody like their dad. So, and then his next comment: it's the biggest job in life, and that's why I think society is struggling with it, because it's one of the biggest challenges and responsibilities you could ever have in life, but a blessing too. That's
Agree.
true. That's true. It is the most important decision. It is the most important decision that we make on this earth as human beings, is the
100%.
person that we marry, person that we have kids with, and it's the most, one of the most important decisions. So that's true.
100%, dude. And
What you gotta say about that?
so big is because, and so important is because I've been saying that when anyone becomes a father, when my brother here, O'Neal, becomes a father, you know what I'm saying, he'll come to realization as well. But when you become a father, you realize there is no handbook, especially if you were not raised in a two-parent household. There's no handbook on being a parent, right? Your handbook is, oh, I'm gonna go to my mom and I'm gonna ask them, hey, how did you handle this situation with a child at this moment, or when they did this? Or I'm gonna go to my dad, hey man, you know, when I was acting up or doing this, how did you handle that? And if you don't have those resources, like most don't, and you know what I mean, like, I'm not gonna say I don't have completely, but you know what I mean, I didn't have that to an extent, so I had to figure it out on my own. You know what I mean? So there's no handbook on it. That's why it's such a complicated topic, because every situation is not only different, but it has to be handled different as well. Because some people are mental learners, some people are physical learners, right? Some people need to be showed how to fix a problem. Some people need to be told how to fix a problem. And so we could dive in, you know, anybody could do this, but anybody could dive into the deep details and the ifs, ands, and buts. But I think what's most important is that we talk about what's right and what's wrong, right? I think that's what's not talked about enough, and that's exactly what I'm sorry for not having his name correctly, but the gentleman in the video was talking about we just don't talk about it enough, right?
Yeah. We're winging it. We're winging it.
Talk about what's wrong. If without regulation, without rules, there's chaos. Mm-hmm. Right? Without rules, without law, without regulation, there's chaos. Now there is instances where those can get out of hand in themselves, but nevertheless, that you need them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So,
all right, that was good intake, man. I'm really glad that you on this episode, man, because I was looking for somebody to hop on, and I'm glad you
episode, because of how perfect it would be for me. Honestly, there couldn't be a better topic, dude.
So I hope somebody that's watching this gets some value from this. I hope Julian. Agreed. I hope everybody that's watching the replay is catching it, get some value out of this. I'm going to show you the next video, and it's going to be kind of crazy. It's going to be like the opposite. So
okay,
get ready, because it's going to be on another level. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Now, let's do it.
Bring that over here. All right, so
Coffee Pod. My name is Shisha Zed.
Drink the coffee.
This is another gentleman's YouTube channel, Shisha Zed. Fair use on this one as well. You know, just reviewing his video that he made, and we're gonna just review the TikToks and videos that these people
make you feel better.
Single mothers are happy that they divorced their husbands and are now doing it all on their own. Check out this video captioned, "When being a single mom is easier than being partnered with a man." Let's get it.
I am honestly amazed how many women find it easier to be a single mother than to stay with the partner of their child. This is in heterosexual relationship. Like, I know women who are like, you know what? I can work. I can pay the bills. I don't need your child support. And if you do provide it, it doesn't even touch the sides. I can cook. I can clean. I can do whatever needs to be done. And I don't have to worry about you anymore. But some dude like at you for things and making demands and having a whole ass person that you got to be responsible for in addition to your children. And a lot of these women that I know, like, they were told it was going to be harder to be a single mom. They were told, watch out, it's going to be more difficult. Then they do it and they're like, oh my God, my stress has gone down. They have time to themselves. They can parent without bullshit. They don't have to cook a meal every night. I'm amazed they actually find it easier.
All right, guys. So you heard it for yourself. So we're gonna read just a couple of comments here in.
So what do you think about a video like that? I'm gonna skip around to the next video. He's gonna go over some comments, but I want to go into like the next video. But let me know what you think about that.
Based off of what she was saying, I mean, I don't really have. I think she was kind of just acknowledging that there's some women that prefer to be a single parent than to be with, being in a relationship. And I think what she's talking about is those situations where there's a man that isn't trying to be a man in that, in that household, right?
But do you think that she should be encouraging other women to want to be a single, like we just saw the statistics. Patrick Bet-David went through the whole statistics. Like, you being a single mother, you're almost like handicapping your children in today's world.
Right.
So a girl going online and expressing how easy it is to be a single mother,
right?
Like, what? Like, it's two conflicting sides. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would somebody highlight this kind of lifestyle if the statistics are so detrimental, like homicide, suicide, teen pregnancy, incarceration, you know what I'm saying, mental disorders, all kind of low self-esteem, all kinds of stuff. So what are you saying about that?
So, all right. So let me feed you some food. All right. Let me feed you some knowledge, and it's going to be some good stuff. So I'm not for the male side. I'm not for the female side. Right. I'm for what's right. Like I said before, it's what's about is what's right and what's wrong. And that's what I'm here for or what I stand for. And that's, it's opinionated. It's situational. You can't sit here and I was a single father, right? I was a single father for 4 years. And in my situation, it was better off me being a single parent than in a relationship.
Okay. Now let me pause you. Let me pause you real quick before you continue.
Okay.
So in your situation, your anecdotal situation, it was better for you to be a single father. But would you then go online and tell other men that it's easier to be a single father?
No. So okay. So where
you know what I'm saying? Like it's what you're putting is the message that you're putting out there. You're gonna tell guys, dude, you need to be with your girl. Y'all need to come together and make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like telling somebody that it's easier to be a statistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, but go ahead, continue.
It's easy to. So this is the problem with knowledge and information nowadays, is that it's so easy to misinterpret, especially when you're over a phone like we are now, or you're on a video on YouTube. You can't feel the emotion in the room. I think we've all been in a room before where we can feel the emotion, whether it was a football stadium, or our church, or just in a room with our parents that we're getting disciplined. You know what I'm saying? You can feel the energy coming off of their words. You can't do that necessarily when you're talking to a phone. Okay. That's where we're crippled, right? So I'm still here?
Yeah, you're here.
My bad, I received the call. So knowledge can be so easily misinterpreted and easily misunderstood. And you're asking me what I go out and preach about, it's easier to be a single father. Now, that's not what so from what I understand.
But she's on TikTok saying it.
Okay. I get what you, okay. But you have to remember.
Millions of people probably seen, millions of girls probably seen her video.
Hold on. Let me get the point out.
Yeah.
Words and intention cannot match up. Right? Sometimes you may say some things that your intentions were not equal to that word, or those select words, right? So she could be on here saying it's easy to be a single mother. I don't understand why you would even fight and go be in a relationship with someone who's being abusive or whatever the case is. She's saying, look, in my situation, if I would have kept the father in the picture, I could have ended up I'm putting words in her mouth, but this is an example that she could have died, right? She could have been in an abusive relationship. The father could have hated the kid because of her and killed the kid, or hurt the kid, or hurt her. And so the point is that it's all situational. You can't sit here and tell one person or a bunch of people, a group of people, that it's better to be a single parent or single father or single mother. And even with the other video, it's not like he can sit here and say, hey, it's always better to be in a relationship, because we all know we're all grown. We're not ignorant. We know that not all situations are the same. If they were the same, we'd all be living the same life. And that's not the case.
Not all situations are the same, But on a balance of probability, if you raise your child, and this is just pure numbers, if you raise your child together in a 2-parent household, they're more likely to be a successful operating person in this society. Not saying that statistic's gonna get everybody, but if you're just looking at the numbers, if you zoom out, you look at like the United States,
right,
as a whole, and you zoom out, children who come from single parent homes, especially put emphasis on single mother homes,
right,
are just the statistics are just dismal. The statistics are just all there. It's like it's just staring right at you. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So for a girl,
Right,
to come out, make a video online, a video that if he's doing a review on that video probably got millions of views online, and she's basically saying it's easier to be a single mom. I don't have to cook every night. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I have more free time. I have this. I have that. I have this. But the statistics are like, she's not explaining what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So millions of eyeballs are watching this video, and millions of women are getting influenced by this kind of person.
right.
Not saying she's good or bad. I'm just saying she came online and she's given the word. She's given somebody the word. And and that could have been the word for a girl for a young girl to realize is like, I'm gonna be with, like, I'm gonna be a single mom, or like I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. But you gotta
like you
not the people who put out the content's responsibility on how it's not her responsibility to determine how you're gonna interpret it.
It's not.
Everybody has the right to express their opinion and their own personal experience. So if someone wants to express it, whether that was a male or female, right there saying, I like say that was me being a single father 4 years ago or a couple years ago, and being like, hey man, it's way easier to be a single parent, right? Way easier to be a single parent. Whether I was a male or female, it shouldn't matter, right? Because what's most important is the interest of the child. Like I think
exactly
commented earlier, what's most important is the interest of the child. What's in the interest of the child. You can't sit here and act like these statistics are based on someone went by to all of the households that they did the statistics on and asked them details on it, like why is it this way, or what was your situation, what's your story. They didn't do that, right? They just took statistics, they took numbers, right? It's all number games when it comes to statistics, right?
Yeah, it's number games, but if you're looking at the world, you're looking at the statistics, man, right? We have to take this into consideration.
You could take it into consideration.
If that TikTok got to, like, let's say 50 million people seeing this TikTok,
right?
That's 50 million eyes. Everybody knows how the game works, how advertisement and just marketing works. Millions of people are going to see this,
right?
Let's say 50 million people see it, and only maybe like 500,000 people, 200,000 people actually internalize this information. And I'm just saying she's not the only one that says comments like this. She's not the only one that does this. And we're gonna go to the next video too. But this is a trending theme that we're seeing now online of women that are telling other women. You got young women are on TikTok too. Young women that have no kids, that don't have that, are watching her videos and are being internalizing it now that, okay, well, it's okay to be a single mom. I'm gonna, like, if I end up being a single mom.
I believe that the person that interprets that video as I should be a single mom now has their father in their life. Do you believe that?
I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. But it's who
the internet now is that we have too much opinion. We have too much freedom with opinion. We can get online.
Exactly.
You know what's important? I think that, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that what is most important is what's in our household, and that we should all keep in mind that we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. And some people go through phases. Maybe she's on there talking about, single parents, the way to go. And then she meets somebody next year and she realizes that it's not.
But it doesn't matter. And that's even worse, because she was online telling other women to be a single mom. Next year, she finds a man. And then what? But so that's even worse, because you're not giving people
Right.
You're not pushing people in the direction that is most likely
perfect because you're not perfect either. You've had some opinions on some topics that are not correct.
Exactly. And if I'm wrong,
right.
And even if I say something that I think, okay, this is gonna have a negative influence,
right,
then I will personally say something about it. I will personally come out and say something about it, or I will take it down, or you know what I'm saying? If I'm pushing people, in a direction where their children are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated,
I'm with you.
That's not the move. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, bro. Like I said before, dude. I've had a father, a biological father, right? Was phenomenal, was a superhero to me, right? Passed away at 7 years old, right? Due to suicide, right? So committed suicide. And then from there on out, within a year, my mother met another man named Lawrence, my stepfather, the one that's been in my life since my father's been gone. And now he was nowhere near a perfect man. You know what I'm saying? So I've experienced him being in and out of my life for years, where, you know what I'm saying? I've had my father who was, in my eyes, a perfect father, right? Or a great father. And then I have someone who is not so perfect. And I don't blame either one of them or criticize either one of them for being great or bad. But you have to take everything with a grain of salt. And like I said earlier, I think that we all have too much opinion and we don't reflect on ourselves enough. We're too busy trying to point fingers and not take accountability for what's in our life and just live with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree. You know what I mean? I agree 100%. I get it. Yeah. I've lived in a single parent household. I've lived in a two-parent household. I've been a single parent. I have a fiance now, and my life is great. It was great when I was a single parent. It's better now that I have a woman in the house because she is better at, and she says this all the time, and I agree with her. I agree with her that men need women and women need men when it comes to heterosexual relationship or whatever you want to call it. But we all need each other. We all need help. We all need guidance. And it's such a cop-out to me to try to point fingers and act like someone is wrong rather than educate them and or educate whoever you run into with the similar mindset, because I think that it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Because you as a man, if your father, if Daddy Thomas, right, if he didn't come into your life and correct you when you were wrong, you would know no boundaries. You would not know right from wrong. And you would be just that woman, right? You'd be like, hey, man, I don't think that a two-parent household really matters because, you know, because of how your life went up, right? Yeah. But you know what I mean? That's not the situation, right?
And what we're doing right now is a form of that kind of intervention. Right. So people will put out videos 100%. like that, and people like us will do a reaction on it so other people can watch the videos and understand, well, like, oh, okay, like what she said, she's actually like you, if you compare everything that Patrick Bet-David said to what this lady said, there's just no comparison, man. He broke down every single statistic, every single demographic.
Right.
You cannot push single motherhood on women.
Right.
Like it can never be, like, obviously some women are gonna have to be single mothers. That's just how life intended, or nature, or whatever this your situation. But it cannot be the standard. It cannot be pushed.
So the reason I'm so strong on this is because, like, my mother, she was in an abusive relationship. I grew up as a child watching my mother go from being treated like a queen with my father to being with my stepfather and being physically abused. You know what I'm saying? Being hit, being choked out, being mistreated, cheated on, and stuff like that. So it's so emotionally, I would say, numb, I guess, or I guess not educated on the topic maybe, but it's so hard to sit here and say, oh, that woman is not right if she chooses not to be in that relationship, because there needs to be a two-parent household.
I'm not saying everybody has their own individual experience, bro. But what I'm talking about, if we're teaching a lesson, if we're having a lesson, if we're trying to change the standard of America, we cannot tell women.
But we have to start at home, right? We got to start at home. That's what I keep trying to say, is that I think, again, the internet gives too much of an opportunity for opinion.
Exactly.
It's most important is we start at home and start from home and connect to the people that connect to us and the people that we run into in our lives. I think that's where it's most important.
All right. I'm gonna finish with this last video. We're gonna do some comments, final remarks, and then we'll be done with the show. We a little bit over time.
It's good conversation when you
it's good.
You know what I mean?
It's good.
So
All right, cool. So we're gonna talk about this real quick. All right.
Dude.
So let me bring this back up, and then.
Can I just add to this for a second? I did this way back in the day, and let me tell you, no one believed me. And now I'm glad that women have TikTok and are catching game, because as soon as I left, why was I able to work full time, go to grad school full time? Like I finished my undergrad, then I did grad school full time while I was like starting a business on the side, raising 3 children on my own.
Right.
And now my bank account fats. So I don't understand. It's like having big kids. Let me just show you. Let me just show you these degrees up here. Let me just show you those degrees up there. All accomplished by dropping the dead weight.
I got a lot to talk about.
I'm just saying, ladies.
All right, so you guys heard it for yourself.
I got a lot to talk about that, but anyways, let's give each other a minute to say our final remarks on that.
For sure.
And I'm gonna read the final comments, and then we'll wrap it up.
Let's do it, dude. Let's do it.
Yeah,
you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I want to start off with saying that's beautiful, and flowers to that lady, right? Like whoever that is, God bless them, right? Because she's not wrong, right? That lady said, look at me, I'm single and I'm doing it all, and you can't be mad at that. I think that it's very important that we remember how to be happy for one another and stop being man versus woman, right? Yeah. Right now, the conversation is a very man versus woman topic, or really, you know what I mean? I guess we're men, so we have a men point of view on parenthood, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so I think what's most important is we just need to be happy for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Or not be happy for everybody. I'm sorry, but be, you know what I'm saying? For situations like that, how could you be mad at that, right? Okay. How could you disagree with that? There's no, you never know a person's story, and if you was to meet that person in real life, you probably hear the story and be like, hey man, you know, that's awesome. You know what I mean? You probably wouldn't believe what you hear if she told you her story. So again, I just want to kind of relapse on one of my point before, and I'll probably end on that. But we just all need to keep in mind and take self accountability and remember everything. A change starts at home. Change starts at home. Mm-hmm. I cannot go out and preach about being a great father if I wasn't a great father in my household today. Mm-hmm. If my son and my daughter and my fiance didn't think that I was a great father, how could I ever go out or get on this podcast or this stream and talk about what a great father is and my point of view on any of this, right? So you got to start at home. And it's also a hard topic to talk about what it's like to be blue when none of us are blue. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So just keep in mind, take everything with a grain of salt, and just remember to love everybody, appreciate everybody, and be considerate, man. You know what I'm saying? Be considerate to a reasonable amount.
Okay. So I get what you're trying. I get what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
I understand. And this lady right here, she seems like a really fine lady. She seems like she's really educated. She knows what she wants out of life. And she's gotten. What?
I said, if your mother was single, I bet you that'd be your mom. She'd be some successful.
She probably would. I mean,
like some killer lady.
She's successful now.
She is. No, she is. She's
successful now, and she would be successful. I'm sure she would have been successful if she wasn't one father or she wasn't in a relationship.
100%.
That's just who my mom is, right? But let me finish what I was gonna say. So
okay, go ahead, brother.
This lady in particular, this one person out of millions of other people, did her thing. She got her degrees. She's making her money. She raised 3 kids. She did it on her own. That's amazing, right? That's amazing.
Right.
But now when we're talking about how children really end up, she is like, her story is like the example of like joining the NFL. You know what I'm saying? We don't talk about all the other men that never made it, that couldn't run fast enough, do whatever, you know what I'm saying? And this is just an analogy, this is just anecdote. We don't talk about all the other people that don't make it, that get injured, that get hurt, etc., things like that. It's harder to get in, right? But in her situation and case, most people will never do what she did, cannot do what she did, and she's playing in a different league of her own. But now when we're talking about just the statistics of the entire United States and the state that people are in, most Americans barely have $1,000 in savings. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about regular people here. She's a high performer. She's got it. She could be a CEO of a company. She's got it, right? Most women cannot do what she does. And that's just real facts. Most women are gonna need a man. They're gonna need a husband. And most men are gonna need a wife too. Men and women in the house. That's the best. That's the best thing that's gonna happen to society, right? And so, but the thing is that I will caveat on this is that if she's posting this TikTok and he's doing a review on this TikTok, she has to have millions of views, right? There's a lot of women watching what she's saying, right?
Right.
So she's putting out this idea that being a single mom is going to end with you being better.
Right.
That's not the case when we look at the numbers and we look at what people are actually going through in across the board. There's millions, there's like 500,000 million people or 500 million people in America or something like that, maybe 600 million people.
Now,
not everybody's going to be able to play at the level that she's doing. Most people, the average people that are working 9-to-5 jobs, doing this regular lifestyle kind of things, are going to need to be in a 2-parent home. So somebody like this coming out and saying that it's better for you to be single, be a single mom, she's not talking about everybody else that couldn't make it into the league.
Right.
That people, you know what I'm saying?
I believe that she put out that video with intentions to reach people that were in a similar situation to her. Or
she put that video out to reach people who are single, other people who are single moms.
Right. Similar situations to her, right?
I mean, who knows who's watching this video, but like the people that are going to relate to it are single mothers.
I'm saying who watched it. I'm saying your opinion.
Millions of people watch this video.
But okay, do you think that she had the intention to put out this video to reach people that were in similar situations as her?
Similar, like single mother, similar, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, if they were in similar situations, right, as far as being a single mother or being in a not so good relationship, I would assume, then she's probably just trying to reach them. And like I said, it circles back to you can't try to express yourself and keep in mind everybody's intentions or how everybody's gonna.
And that's why people like us will come online and do reviews and digest it.
Because what is our opinion?
Reviews? I mean, his opinion is an opinion, right? But we'll do reviews of this, right? And we'll point out the things that we don't agree with. We'll point out the things that we do agree with, right?
Right.
And this is just one thing that I personally just don't agree with. I don't agree with anybody coming out and saying that it's better to be a single mother than to be in a relationship, in a loving relationship.
Yeah.
If your individual situation demands that you leave your household in order to live a better life, then so be it. That's your individual situation. But we're looking at statistics in the standard. We're looking at the entire breadth of the United States of America. Like people need we need to preach. We need to be
bad.
We cannot preach single motherhood, bro.
No, of course not. But I don't think that.
That's what she's saying.
But I don't think that she would disagree with you because, and I'm being the devil's advocate, right?
Yeah. That's fine. I'm cool. Like this is actually good. It's actually good content.
For sure, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like O'Neal, I agree with you, right?
Yeah.
I think that Aaliyah being in my life, right, my fiance, and helping me raise these kids, we're doing a way better job than I would have did by myself. 100%. No doubt. Do I agree with that? Yes. But can I also step back and be like, you know what? I was a single parent before, and I can see both point of views because I've been in both positions. And I can see the other point of view. You know what I'm saying? I can see where someone's coming from, and I can't necessarily sit here and want to be like, oh, I don't think that she's right. But I can sit here and be like, you know what? I see where she's coming from. And I can, if I was to ever talk to a woman like that, I can give them advice or give my point of view on it to help them, you know, maybe see a different point of view. And I think that us as not America, I don't even know what to put it as, but maybe us as humans, we are too easily to come up with problems and solutions. It's like, why would if I wanted to run a $1 billion business, why would I come to you with problems rather than solutions? No one goes to their boss and says, hey man, I got another problem, because then they would get fired. They go to them and they say, hey, we got solutions. So again, like you were saying, that's the whole point of us digesting videos like this for other people to view and take it for their own.
So they can, so they can under and take, they can decide who's right or who's wrong and how they want to live their life.
Choices,
they
right?
Can decide. You know what I'm
also,
saying?
Back to what's most important is O'Neal has to focus on what's in his household, and in his household, there's not going to be a single mother, right?
No,
he's not going to have a kid out of wedlock, because O'Neal knows that it's a better idea to get married than have a child.
Exactly.
And that's why you haven't had a kid yet, and that's respectable, and I'm sure everyone would agree with that, because everyone's opinion is and choice has to be respected. You got to respect people's choices. You got to.
I respect people's choices. I respect her choice that what she had to do. I respect her choice on what she had to do to get the job done.
Right. But
I don't respect her choice in telling other women that it's better to be a single mom.
Right. But yeah, and you know what I mean? And that's, you know, like I said, you know what I mean? We create too many problems and not enough solutions. And I would
Mm-hmm.
much rather have more conversations about how to help that mindset or see improve.
You're right. We need that's what the next stream has to be about.
Right.
The next stream got to be about that. But
yeah,
but go ahead and give any closing remarks. We're gonna actually let's go over the last comments.
Cap it off because I gotta get going soon.
Anyway. Yeah. Let's finish up the comments and then we will go on. Okay, so we got Julian again. Not all situations are the same, but that video is implying that all situations are which can be. That video is implying that all situations are which can be detrimental. This is telling couples that are struggling with their relationships, specifically women.
Right.
I'm kind of.
So I get what he's saying. What he's trying to say is not all situations are the same, but in this video specifically, he's trying to say this lady is trying to imply that in detrimental relationships, specifically for women struggling, that's the best option, right? Be single. I think that's what he's trying to get at. It's basically like. I think that he's trying to say he gets.
Hold on.
Hello, I'm back.
We're back. We about to finish up. up.
For sure. Yeah, we're back to it off. But I think what he was trying to get at, and I could be wrong. Sorry if I miss
No, you're
good. He's trying to I think he agrees. You know what I mean? I think that what she's trying to say is, look, if you're in a situation that was anything like mine, you can do it on your own. And I respect that.
Okay, so he's saying that the last two ones are together. So we'll show the next one. So this was a continuation. So let's read it all together. I'll say this is telling couples that are struggling in their relationships, specifically women, to quit on the relationship. Then this impacts the kid, because if it's okay for mommy and daddy to do it, then I can too. Exactly, and that's another thing too. That's another thing too that we didn't even talk about. But hey. I appreciate you, Julian, for copping in into the chat, and we're gonna wrap it up here. You know, we're a little bit over time. I appreciate my boy Justin for coming in and doing this stream with me.
Sure.
Well, we'll do it. We'll do it again, bro. I want to have like more dads. I want to talk to more dads,
for sure.
More people that have that experience, and you have that experience. So
I want to cap it off by saying, like I said before,
final remarks.
As the father of two and a male who grew up in a broken and collective household, I think it's important to start in your house, man. If you want to make a difference in the world and you want to get on here or make a difference in society, start at home. Start at home. Start with yourself and grow from there, and then go out and touch multiple people over videos like that and get a multiple perspectives on it. But yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on here, O'Neal. I love you, dude.
Of course, bro. Of course, man. So
yeah, man.
We're closing out the show now, guys. I appreciate everybody for coming. I appreciate you, Julian, for your interesting comments. This was Father's Talk, live every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Yasuke Fitness. I appreciate you guys for coming by. Like the video, thumbs up if you like the content, man. Let me know if you guys want to see more. Give me a thumbs down if you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what I could do better. Give me some self-criticism. Drop a comment in the below in the video. Everybody that's catching the replay, drop a comment in below. Let me know how the video went. And subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe. Help me out. Help me fight this YouTube algorithm. And we're going to have more of these, man. I'm going to have Justin on again. We're going to do this again, man. I really appreciate him for coming on. So that's it, guys. We out of here. Peace.
Thank you, O'Neal. Love you, dude.